Okay, so before we start the regular council meeting, we need to, I'm just going to present Alexander with his certificate of recognition. So Alexander, do you want to come up front with me, please? Right in front of the computer over here. So we had our volunteer appreciation night the other night due to a technical difficulty. Alexander was missed, so I want to present Alexander with his certificate of appreciation for being recognized, nominated as one of the volunteers of the year for High River. Yay! The Colossi. Don't let your dad use it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Want to take this up?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so I'll call the regular meeting of council to order at 3 p.m. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Jones. The council adopt the agenda for the regular council meeting, May 9th, as presented.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Kinghorn that the following, can you hear me? Are you any good at this meeting at all yet? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's fantastic news. As for a motion from Councillor Kinghorn that the following are adopted by an omnibus motion in accordance with council's procedure bylaw. April 25th, the regular council minutes, April 25th, special council minutes, and the strategic priorities chart.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I'm happy to give you that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay. Any public comments, Jody?
No.
Try to reduce some feedback here. So the next up, we have the High River Pump Track delegation. Jeff is not here. Okay, we'll move on. If Jeff shows up, we'll come back to it. Next up is Riley. You're presenting on Center Street.
Here or up there? Well, does it matter? Do you have a preference, Craig?
I don't care as long as, are you, wherever you're going to be on Zoom, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you stay there.
All right, can everyone hear me? Nods all around. I am subbing in for Kaylee today, who has a couple sick kids. So I'm presenting on Center Street rehabilitation. Over the years, there's been some concerns expressed and raised with regards to the condition of the asphalt there and how maintenance or future projects may or may not impact residents and businesses. While we are doing top lift for Center Street this year, we saw an opportunity to incorporate this into that work. So we did ask the contractor for a change order, which is presented here today for council's deliberation. We have had some savings on other projects. And while this is not a direct transfer of those funds, it does kind of help. We were under budget on 24th Street, and we were originally looking at funding this project from that in terms of just a change in scope with council rather than a budget request. But we are using a different funding source, so it does have to be treated as 24th Street going back to the bank, and then this coming from a new source of funding. The last point is this work was not included in the original scope because the original scope was funded by renewal funding, and this did not qualify for that funding. So I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions from council? Questions from council? Councillor Nychuk.
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. To Second Avenue, does that include the bump out that's there and that sewer catch that's like about 1.5 inches sticking up, Riley? There's a grate there that's, because it's top lift, right? So are we going past that? We're not going all the way to third, we're only going to second.
So this request is from essentially second to the floodgate. The existing project already goes to second.
So it's all, yeah, that's all getting covered, I guess, was my question.
Yeah, so if you're seeing a lip of like 1 inch on those grates,
Yeah.
that's where top lift is still missing.
Yeah.
This is north of that. And I guess just to add to that, this is purely a top lift.
Yeah.
I know we do have some concerns with the pathway and drainage around that area, but that would involve a lot more work. This is strictly just redoing the surface on this area of road.
Thank you, Riley.
The whole project goes from the floodgates all the way through Scott Street with top lift, not with top lift. Top lift's been done there, correct?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Mayor Snodgrass?
Has top lift been done on Center Street?
No.
No. So will that be done this year as well?
Yes, what we're proposing is that we would do this in conjunction with this, so there's a single closure. The change order that's being proposed here is from that contractor, so it's all done at once.
It's just that one chunk, but in reality, it's going to be paved from the floodgates all the way to 7th.
Correct, from 2nd to 7th is already in contract and awarded.
Correct. Correct. Councillor Barton.
Thank you, Mayor. Riley, just one question. How you made a comment, I think I read it to the report.
Thank you, Mayor. And Riley, I just had a quick question. I know you had mentioned it just now, but there was also in the report where this wasn't didn't qualify for funding through rehabilitation, I guess it was, or
Correct.
like, can you just explain to us why that was the case? Because
so the work on Center Street was driven by utility repairs. And so there's no utilities underneath this road that were impacted by the floods. So it didn't qualify for that funding.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, this isn't working. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
There we go. I'm curious about when you come from towards the lights outside of Sobeys there's that one little pitch that almost launches a vehicle if you hit it the right way. Is that also going to be addressed as part of this remediation?
You mean coming,
If
I
you're
guess it'd be
driving
west
north?
north?
If you're coming from, give me a business.
Yes,
like-
okay, south of the intersection.
Correct.
There is a bit of a, that's where, yes, that would be addressed. That would be addressed regardless, because what I think you're identifying is where our scope of work stopped
Okay.
previous year. And so what you're seeing is a lip where the top lift has not been placed. So top lift on that south portion would match that edge and take away that lip.
Okay. Yeah, because there is a bit of a dip there now, and I don't know if that's just from where, but it is significant if you hit it the right way.
No further questions. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Walsh. The council authorized funding in the amount of $141,800 for Center Street rehabilitation, floodgate to Second Avenue project to be funded from the MSI. And the council authorizes admin to issue change orders to AIC Construction and MPE Engineering to repair the deficiencies on Center Street from the floodgate to Second Avenue to be funded by Municipal Sustainability Initiative in the amounts of $124,311 and $4,600 respectively.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll give you that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next one, Riley, with the Hamptons bypass.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. Before you is a contract for engineering services for designing and overseeing essentially construction management for the Hamptons bypass road. So right now we have a road that was gravelled and then later coated with recycled asphalt. There's desires to improve this surface. And so the original report from, or original direction from council was to pave this, and that's what the budget is for. We have looked at it further, and there is an opportunity to do that same kind of structure. So essentially a 2-lane rule kind of cross section on the ultimate alignment. And so we're going to have a designer design both, give us a cost analysis that we can have a conversation around and determine which is best. This contract also awards some public consultation. And I think that's about it. We had 3 bids ranging from 99,000, which is the lowest bid, which is what we're proposing to go with, up to 135,000. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So the 3 bids, because there was a question prior to the council meeting. So SEMA's bid is in the package. MPE was the next one at 125,000, and McElhaney was the 3rd bid at 135,000. Questions from council? So I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Barton that council authorize the proposed award for Hamptons Bypass Connector Road project for $98,876 to SEMA Plus for design services, including contract and construction services and post-construction services posted in the RFP, and the council authorize the mayor and CAO to execute the contract with SEMA.
Mayor, you have my motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Riley.
Thank you.
Sonia, flexible work policy.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Today,
And here.
Can't hear you very good at all, Sonia. No.
Sonia, there's a little switch up here.
No, these are different. I mean, just pops out.
The problem is the Zoom piece, right? We're not getting you through. Go again.
Hello?
That's all.
Hello?
Yeah, that'll work.
So good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm pleased to be here today to present the flexible work policy. So throughout the pandemic, we did have to learn and adapt to a new way of working and different ways of working. Additionally, there have been some shifts in the labor market more recently within the last year that has poised us as the labor market is difficult to attract and retain skilled workers. This flexible work policy supports both the employees and the community by maintaining or enhancing service delivery, ensuring that we have skilled staff, improving employee well-being, and also increasing engagement, job satisfaction, productivity, and performance. By offering this flexible work place and these work options, we're also, so those would be things such as part-time remote work or else compressed work weeks and other flexible work options. Through this, we are positioning the employer as a employer of choice through innovative ways of delivering service, while also supporting employee well-being. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thanks, Sonia. Questions from council? I see none, I hear none. So I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Nychuk. The council adopt the flexible work policy HRPOL 100-01. Councillor Nychuk has a question as well.
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. Sorry, took a second to get everything hooked up there. Obviously, workforce is going in a different direction. I would be remiss if I didn't express some concern in that pathway from a number of avenues. One being efficiency and performance. What's our methodology to track that, monitor it, encourage it, set expectations? What's the cost of doing this? Because there is a cost to creating home workplace environments. And what is the cost that the town of High River is going to bear to create these work environments? Another aspect is, what are we in this agreement? There can be personal taxation benefit for people creating workplaces at home. So how are we incorporating that into our decision and control making policies with this going forward? And I mean, Chris, you can jump in and tell me I'm in the weeds if you want to. I support this. This is a way that our workforce is going, but I've got all kinds of questions surrounding it to understand how we're implementing and controlling it and how we're going to roll it forward. And I understand that this is very new to everybody, really brought on by the pandemic, and allowing people to work in situations where they wouldn't otherwise be able to. But is our policy a work in progress? Because the things I'm asking about aren't details that really I could glean out of the package that I got. So it's good to put a policy in place, but I would like to understand the meat and potatoes behind the policy. Or are we going to work on that some more as we go forward? Thanks, Sonia.
We would do things like measure what's customer service.
No.
Can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay, that's all. Okay, thanks. So I'll start again. Sorry, Mayor Nychuk, or Councillor Nychuk, sorry. So yeah, there is a trial period that we're going to 6-month trial period in that we will be measuring things such as customer service, both internal and external, productivity, things like, are we meeting the deliverables that we established during that period, expectations, some of the questions that you asked around the details will be outlined in what we're calling a flexible work guide. So that will be details like requests for flexible work arrangements, and it's not going to be an automatic. Individuals will have to ask and request, and we'll make sure that the individuals that do ask for flexible work arrangements, that the work that they're doing is conducive to a flexible work arrangement. And then also things like, is there performance concerns? You know, do we need to establish some deliverables before this 6-month period? What would be the expectations? The managers would then also outline, or leaders would also outline the expectations for individuals while they're working either remotely or also a compressed work week. And then also, is this piece really a, you know, is there things like office space? Like, do we, you know, if this is going to work more beyond 6 months, is there different way that we can set up the office space to have a lower footprint? Is this really meeting the needs of flexibility that is outlined? You know, we have identified throughout the pandemic in the last 2-year period that as much as this is seen as a benefit to employees, there's also some other areas that can be like they're never like, and I'll speak for myself, you're always on. So we also want to measure that that doesn't impede too much on that balance between their work life and also work, home life as well. So as far as the cost is associated, I don't know that there is going to be an additional cost. Like I said, most of our staff that are able to work from home are already set up to do so. But we are exploring different options for them if they need further technology. For example, maybe that can be a one-time setup cost, or it could even be through opening up the flexible work, or not the flexible work, the personal health spending accounts for them to just access that if they want to use it in that way instead of through the other benefits they have. Did I answer all your questions? Is there more? Okay, thank you.
So Councillor Nychuk, if you could give me that motion, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you can have that motion.
Thank you very much. No further questions. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Sonia. Board and committee reports. There's only one statement that I have to read, and that's in regards to Town of High River has received its first complaint under the 2018 Council Code of Conduct bylaw, and based on an investigation report from the Integrity Commissioner and Independent Council, Town Council has considered the report, and on the basis that there has been no breach of the Code of Conduct, Council will be taking no further action. The Mayor, Council, and the Integrity Commissioner can make no further comment under provincial laws, including the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Code of Conduct itself. Any other comments from council members on any boards or committees that you sit on? See none. Jody, any further public comments?
No.
None. Council correspondence requiring action. So Seniors Week Declaration, June 6th to 12th. We do this every year, so I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Smith that Mayor and Council authorize the Mayor to sign the Seniors Week Declaration, and the Mayor and Council declare the week of June 6th to 12th, 2022 as Seniors Week.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Proposed expansion of the community garden on Riverside Drive. So this comes from a letter that I received from a resident in that area, concerned about an expansion to it, and myself and other staff members didn't know anything about it. So I asked Chris the question, which is why it's on the agenda today. And I think Darlene is here because from what I understand, you're the only one that's heard anything from the Community Garden Society about what they may or may not want to do. So Are you able to tell us just a little bit about what's being talked about so that we can?
Hello, can you hear me?
We got nothing.
Try now. Hello, can you hear
There
me?
we go. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Just speaking to the Northwest Community Garden expansion, we were approached by the Garden Society. They've been challenged with a large number of residents on their waiting list, and they approached us asking if there were options to possibly expand the Northwest Community Gardens or possibly look at alternate sites. After conversation with one of the members of the society, we did put out some recommendations, including talking to neighbors in the area if we're looking at expanding, looking at possible alternate sites, because this may be a short-term solution, and possibly looking at changing the fencing so that it's more appealing to the resident sites. So that was the initial conversation. From there, they were going to put together a presentation and bring it to council for consideration.
Perfect. Thanks, Darlene. So we're talking like we're higher than high level right now, right? Where it's just, and the Garden Society is, that's probably where this letter came from, is that they're kind of gauging what the feedback from the neighborhood would be about. So that's why it's coming back to us. But nothing's been discussed with council, nothing's really been discussed with staff. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay. And if they come back with a proposal, we'll discuss what the options are at that time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Darlene. Sorry for wrecking your day.
No worries.
So council correspondence, just for information, correspondence to the Alberta Utilities Commission regarding the increasing utility fees in Alberta in support of correspondence received from the town of Fox Creek. Keep Alberta RCMP community engagement final report, 2022 Town of Black Diamond Parade registration, and registrations open for the Alberta Japan Twin Municipalities Conference. Any other comments, questions from council before we finish off? None. Meeting adjourned 3:29.